Remember that teacher who made a difference? Now's your chance to say thanks with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher to win $5,000 for classroom supplies. This week's winner is Alexandra Maraca, a general music teacher at Red Rock Elementary School. Nominate a teacher to thank today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Pastime common. He is Tennessee. We are here until 3 o'clock. Let's go ahead and listen to some talkbacks. Why not, huh? You have the talkback?
Should be working.
Let's see what we got here. Here's number one.
Hey, Common. Hey, Tennessee. Hey, Mark Rosen.
He's not here.
Unfortunately, the Vikings are going to be worse next year than they were this year. Harry the Hitman's gone. Maybe Flores gone, maybe he's here, but the defense is going to be worse. The quarterback can't stay on the field unless they make a big move. This team is doomed. Terrible fans, terrible city, and a terrible stadium. Skol.
That's awful negative.
It's very negative.
Yeah. I think the Hitman is donezo. They pulled him out of the game. I guess, it's one of those things, once you get a few weeks removed, all of a sudden Otis come up, training camp comes up, you start getting the itch again, right? It's possible he could come back, but it sort of looks like Harry's done so. They called a special timeout, and they even had the guy announce. Timeout, Vikings, first call timeout, whatever they say, and then he said, to honor Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith, then be your thoughts.
Why would he want to come back? Tell me the reason. Because at this stage of his career, the only reason he would come back, given his age, his experience, is to win a big game. Now, he would have to have a reason to believe. That's why I think he came back this year, because they're coming off a 13-4 season. So he said, hey, let's do one more kick at the can because we got a chance to win. We had a good team last year.
Yeah.
Now, after this season, why would you come back again and go through another 7, 8, 9 win season?
Yeah.
So, unless they made some, like I said, a Joe Burrow type move that would make him go, oh, maybe I do want to play here. Yeah. I don't see it.
C.J. Ham. He played his last game.
Apparently.
That was a nice touch.
Nobody even knew about it.
No. That was a nice touch that O'Connell let him get a tutty there. Hand him the football, let him get a tutty. Yeah. Kept the football, had the pictures taken. Pretty cool thing. He was a quality player, right? I mean, not many fullbacks left in the league. I think there's like 4 in the league. Nobody carries one anymore. So there you go. Let's take another one here.
He's always a good special teams player, too.
Yes.
Here's the hot take. KOC's 2 Coach of the Year awards are not because of the offense. Keep Flores as the head coach and trade KOC. Might be able to get a little something for him because I'm assuming the market is hot for him.
Oh my gosh. Where did he find that second Coach of the Year award? I think he only won 1, didn't he? Or did he win 2?
Stefanski won 2.
Yeah.
I think KOC just won 1. I will tell you, I don't know how much you can get for him. When Gruden was traded, were they giving up multiple first-round picks for him?
Oh, it was a boatload. Yeah, it was.
If you can do something like that for a team that's kind of stuck, that's a way to kind of get out of it a little bit. If you think B-Flow can be the guy. I'm not completely against that.
Hold on.
Now,
oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
If we're going to do that, can we have someone else make the draft picks, though, that we're going to get in return?
Well, Team needs a lot of help. There was a piece, and I saved it. We'll look at it sometime this week, probably in upcoming weeks. I don't remember if it was Athletic or one of the fish wraps, but they were. Matter of fact, we before I went on vacation, we took a look at a couple of paragraphs about Vikings got a lot to do. I mean, there are players they need to decide if they want to bring them back. There's money. Like, for instance, let's go with Hawkinson. Did I read this right? Is he couldn't be possibly, money, if they just said, hey, we'd love to have you back under the current contract. Did I read it right? Is he like owed $21 million if they don't?
Yeah, they ain't bringing him back.
Right, but I'm just saying that's one of the problems they have to do is they have to go to him. Now, you could say it's not really a problem because he's got to agree to that, and I'm sure he will, but that's a bookkeeping item you have to take care of. You got to say, Hawk, we love you, want you to come back again. We can't pay you $21 million. And he'll go, I know. What do you have for me? Then you got to do some kind of negotiation there. And the Vikings aren't alone there. There are teams all across the league that have situations in which they have players that it may not have been overpaying them at the time, but as their contracts get further along, in a lot of cases, more money is owed, and then all of a sudden it's like, we can't afford to pay you that kind of money. So you've got those decisions to make.
He will have a cap hit of $21.355 million this year, or this upcoming season, 2026. There is a potential out this year that would create 12.465 in dead cap. So you're basically saving $9 million against the cap if you cut him this year.
He's good, but I mean,
as Ben Lieber brought up this morning on the power trip, there's a reason he didn't play yesterday. Because the Vikings didn't want him to get hurt, and then you're committed to him.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't play.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he had like an injury of some sort where now he's on the books for next year, and
right.
now you can't get out of that contract. So that doesn't mean he's not going to play here next year.
Right.
Something's happening with his contract. He's either getting let go or they're restructuring.
And you'll remember that was a situation when the Vikings were in a good spot. That's Cousins was still the QB, and they thought I think they sort of felt maybe they weren't a tight end away from winning the whole thing, but they knew that was a spot, and they traded with Detroit, and they had to give up a second and a third to get him. So they gave up quite a bit of draft capital to get Hawkinson, and he's been fine. He's been fine, but I don't know if he's worth a second and a third. And he doesn't seem to be the best at yards after catch. So yeah, and then again, the list, and like I say, we'll dig into it as the next days and weeks come up. But there's plenty of decisions the franchise has to make with their personnel about who they want to keep, who they want to restructure. Because there's, and that's on top of, do we have the quarterback or do we not? So let's take another, listen to another talk back here. I saw a couple with swear words, and I was like, I got to be careful. And just be ready on the switch. I don't think this is one because I can read them ahead of time. Let's see what this one says.
I don't think giving up on J.J. McCarthy is the correct approach. However, challenging either the GM or the head coach to go into a season with this roster, with that quarterback plan, is definitely worthy of criticism and possibly even employment if it was by the GM. I think that is a total swing and a miss.
Your thoughts, Tanner?
Well, it was hard for us to kind of evaluate J.J. McCarthy going into the season, right? Like, we were just all going off of hopium and the little we've seen. So I think as someone who hasn't spent hours and hours watching him on tape and having him in the building and knowing what he's about, I didn't mind the plan to go with J.J. McCarthy at the time because I assumed the quarterback whisperer knew what he was doing and thought, hey, this guy's far enough along. They handpicked this guy in the first round of the draft at pick number 10. I assumed that the head coach and that staff would have known that he was a certain part along in his progression that we would have been fine. And clearly, I was wrong in that diagnosis.
Yeah, well, what I've said all along is I do think O'Connell, he does know he can coach up kids and make them better quarterbacks. But because of, Pasternak came in and played real well, then it was the Darnold thing, obviously. And then there are people that want to say Cousins was off to one of his best years ever under O'Connell. I almost think he was being idolized and pedestalized by the National Football League at large. People that play in the league, coach in the league, work in the league, media members, that he's the quarterback whisperer guy, and you start believing that stuff, and you convince yourself, we're coming off a 14-3 season. What we were missing was interior protection in the offensive line, and we weren't getting enough of a pass rush from the interior of the defensive line. Let's get free agents, plug them in, and we can play with McCarthy and win enough games. We can coach him up, and the defense will be strong. We'll still be in it. Total unraveled. It didn't work at all. Now, again, there are people pointing to those last 5 wins, but as you and I talked about, playing against terrible teams in terrible cities with terrible fans, without not a lot out at stake, not as much pressure. It's a whole different ball game. We'll break, come back with more. It's a Common Man program with Tennessee and Common here on the Fan.
Get ready, Minnesota, or actually Minneapolis. OAR is bringing the party to the Armory on September 1st. One night, one stage, all the hits you love. Tickets are going fast. Get the full details right now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. I like this talkback thing. We've got some really good talkbacks. Let me see if I have this one right now. Again, it was one, the one with that had a naughty word, and it was actually sent to the Paul Allen Project. I think somebody was bitter with Ducky and Bunny Radio today, I think. Let's go to this one.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Mitch here from South St. Paul. So this is the way the quarterback situation went down. Kevin O'Connell knew that J.J. McCarthy needed at least one more year of development and pushed for either Aaron Rodgers or to keep Sam Darnold, but the ownership and or Kwesi told him no. So then he was forced to deal with, J.J. McCarthy, and that's why they brought in Carson Wentz at the very last minute because Kevin O'Connell knew deep down that J.J. needed more time to develop. That's how it went down, and he was stuck with him. So we'll see what happens next year.
That's not a bad theory. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a minute. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I don't believe it for a minute. That certainly could have. That's what we don't know. After last year's loss to the Rams, 20 minutes after the game, the head coach stood at the podium and said, we need to rebuild the middle of our offensive line. Because he saw a four-man rush. I don't think the Rams blitzed once in that playoff game, and they sacked Darnold 9 times, I believe, in that playoff game. 9 sacks. A sack or two could have been on Darnold. Didn't release the ball in time. Should have thrown the ball away, whatever the case may be. We know the Detroit game was a disaster. He was terrible in that game. He had got a bad case of the jitters. You want to say choke? Yeah. Okay, he did. Played better in the Rams game, I thought. I think it was the offensive line. So I don't know if the coach, when he said they needed to rebuild the middle of the offensive line, if he would have liked to have Darnold back. I think you and I have talked about this, Tennessee. The ideal situation is to have a quarterback instantly be pretty darn good in his rookie deal so that you have 5 seasons. Well, after 4, you're going to have to renegotiate. You can have 4 quality seasons of a guy that's making peanuts in NFL money, right? So, yeah, that's ideally what you would like to do. I don't know the Rodgers thing. I don't know if he wanted him back or not. I don't know if Kwesi's got the final word, I guess, on signing anybody, right? Is it possible that KOC said, I really want Sam Darnold back, and Kwesi said, we've drafted McCarthy. We don't want to sign Sam Darnold. That's why we drafted McCarthy. We want nothing to do with him. Then Rodgers comes to town, or at least they had a conversation. And then you say, does KOC say, I'd like to sign, let's bring Rodgers in for a year? And Kwesi says, we're not doing that either. And then how much do the Wilfs have to say about this? See, that's what I don't know. None of us know for sure what happens inside. I don't even think the National Treasurer knows, as tight as he is with them, of how those decisions are made. Do the Wilf brothers, Kwesi, and O'Connell all sit down in the same room and talk things over? Do they talk individually? I don't know. Are they all on the same page? Obviously, the final say goes with the owners, right? But they might just say, you guys make the call, we're with you either way. So then it would come down to Kwesi and O'Connell. My sources told me that one of the stipulations for O'Connell to sign an extension was he wanted more say in personnel decisions. I don't know if that's a fact or not. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. And I've heard it from more than one source. So is it 50-50 on that now? I don't know. And I don't think any of us know for sure who. I do think the head coach feels he can coach, and he can. I'm not even suggesting he can't, but did he bite off more than he can chew with McCarthy? Did he say, I can mold this guy and I can get him playing just like Darnold was? Just like that. Not a problem.
You want to know why we don't have those answers? Is it just me, or does Kwesi talk to the media less than anybody?
Yeah, I don't hear him talk often.
Right? Like he'll do like I'm sure we'll hear from him this week at a press conference. But the vast majority of the other 12 months, and maybe I'm just comparing to Rick Spielman, who would make many more appearances. It seems like whenever Kwesi does talk, it's the PA. But to like the general media, I feel like we don't hear from him very often. And I wonder why that is.
The Vikings have played some pretty bad teams as of late. Yeah, like the Lions, who are in last. Went from 15-2 to our same record.
Got you on that one,
yeah,
huh?
I love the people that do that. Because, see, he takes his football more serious than I do. One of the sales guys, Clayton, said, who do you think had a more disappointing season? Because as I went to go get a cup of coffee, we have a coffee area over there now by the sales, and I heard him say, he goes, and if the starting quarterback can just stay healthy, he's talking about, I laughed out loud. I get him going. He goes, who do you think had a more disappointing season? I'd say the Lions had a more disappointing season. Absolutely. They were 15-2 last year, right? Had the number one seed and laid an egg against Washington. They got the first round bye. And this year, they were bringing pretty much everybody back, except for the center, and that ended up being more important than we thought. But so you have a different offensive coordinator. So you have a different. I expected the Lions to be really good again.
They had a more disappointing season in terms of results, but I don't think they had a more disappointing season in terms of how I'd feel about the franchise moving forward.
Yeah,
I feel like the Vikings season is a bigger blow to the gut, a bigger punch to the gut of, man, we may not have the answers. I could still look at Detroit and go, the core's still there. If they're healthy,
yep,
they'll have a second year with their coordinators. Like, I can easily see that team being a contender again next year, whereas the Vikings, barring some massive jump from J.J. McCarthy, it's hard to believe they're going to make a big jump.
Yeah, and
over the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Detroit will come back with the same offensive coordinator. Because if you remember, John Morton came from Denver, I think. And was it 6, 7 weeks into the season? Danny Campbell took over the play calling, which didn't go very well either. Here's where I've all along thought players play, coaches coach, and the players are way more important than the coaching staff. I still think they're more important, but I've also learned just from Detroit, it appears to me that coordinators make a bigger difference than I thought. Look what Ben Johnson has done as a head coach with the Bears.
I think with Detroit too, it's also offensive line means a lot.
Yeah.
Right. They've had an elite offensive line over the last couple of years, and it was a little bit decimated this year.
Yeah. Well, they were playing with 2 rookies. They like them. You know, those guys were drafted to eventually play. I just don't think the Lions knew for sure that their center was going to retire, and they didn't think they'd lose Zeitler to free agency.
And Ragnow retired.
Yeah, let's take another one.
Common, Tenna, Northeast guy here. I think we run it back with McCarthy next year, see what he's got. Probably don't bring in a veteran for a QB competition, because if he sucks, gets hurt, let's try to bottom out. This next year's quarterback class is stacked, including Arch Manning, who I think would look really good in purple. Let me know your thoughts.
Is not this year, but is the following year, is that a stacked draft for quarterbacks?
Well, Arch Manning didn't have a great year, did he?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I think he played better later. Early, he was terrible.
Yeah.
But I think he did play better after that. Do we know what any is? I don't follow the...
I thought I heard this upcoming year is not great.
This year's not good, but he's talking about the following year. So we bring McCarthy. His idea is bring McCarthy back. Let's rerun that again. See what happens. If we know he doesn't have it, let's not have a veteran that might win us some meaningless games again and get to 9-8. If we know McCarthy... If, let's say 5-6 weeks in, McCarthy's where he is now or actually regresses, well, then you probably say, we made a mistake, let's get another guy. So we do the passive tanking, which I don't know if O'Connell has in him, but you go to the passive tanking and get back near the top of the draft and get your next guy. One last segment to go. We'll talk a little this, a little of that, with the emphasis on the lat here on the Common Man program on the Fan. Fun than a barrel of monkeys? Well, I got the answer for you. Flop, Sweat, and Tears Petty Theft Tour, 2 shows coming up. We'll give away tickets later in the next week or so when we get closer to the date. But tickets are available. Ticket sales have been, what's the word I would use? Moribund? But now they went to tepid, and I wouldn't say it's brisk. Is there a word between tepid and brisk? Because brisk would mean they're kind of, hey, they're really selling. Yeah. Tepid means, do I really want to buy one or not? So there's somewhere between there. We're at the Eagles Club in Rochester. They said I would never work the Eagles Club in Rochester. So I'm getting the last laugh there. Tickets available at commonmanbook.com, commonmanbook.com. And then we're doing a show at the legendary Cato Ballroom where Buddy Holly and the Crickets once played. Tickets available there at catoballroom.com/tickets. That's in February. So we have a February show and a January show. Those might be...
If Buddy Holly was still alive, he would say, I once played where Flop, Sweat, and Tears does their shows.
That's exactly what he would say. And so those will probably be the only 2 Petty Theft Tour shows. So if you want to see us, boy, you better get your tickets now. Here's another one, Tenneby.
PA, Nordo, what's going on, guys? Hey, we got all this quarterback talk going on, but I'm feeling like the bigger problem is kind of being overlooked here with that offensive line. What do we have, 29 different changeups this year? And I understand it had to do with injury, but I feel like no matter who's back there, they're not going to be accurate if they're constantly running for your life. Thanks, guys. Jim from Cottage Grove.
Jim from Cottage Grove, my neck of the woods. I mean, he makes some sense. And there were a lot of injury issues on the offensive line. The left tackle, it's how many? I know how many times.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, how many times am I going to hear? You know what Bud Grant once said? We know what he said. Yeah, if you can't play, you're no good to the team. Right? If you can't be on the field, you're not doing anybody
The best ability is availability.
Yeah, or durability. Whichever one you want to use. And he's had some injury issues. The left, what do we think of the left guard? Was this his rookie season? Is it Jackson?
He seemed all right, yeah.
Yeah. So he might be, there's a nice piece.
He's a starter.
Our center we ended up going with Brandel, right? Most of the time, because the other guy was concussion injury. Was it Ryan Kelly? He's not coming back, right? They're not going to bring him back.
He shouldn't play anymore.
Yeah, he shouldn't play anymore. So I don't know if Brandel looks like a guy that can be a mainstay at center and be one of those guys you can count on. O'Neal played hurt a lot again this year, and he's good. We know that. And then who is our right guy? Fries, and he was okay. So, yeah, I would say
it is a big discussion around the left tackle though, because he was. I mean, he kind of left the team out to dry this year of the amount of times he couldn't play or the amount of times he was on a pitch count during games.
Yep.
Remember when they were across the pond and he's pulling himself when we're down in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I heard Ben Lieber going after J.J. McCarthy today about, pulling himself in the middle of that game yesterday. I'm thinking, what about the left tackle? He was on a self-imposed pitch count.
So Lieber
and that's an issue moving forward.
Yeah. So Lieber went with he wasn't thrilled with the quarterback pulling himself out of the game. I guess I just see things so differently than other people. I didn't have a problem with that. If it's his left hand, okay, yeah, you got to play. You got to know.
Yes, of course. It's
his right hand. His hand was so bad the game before. You saw it. He couldn't. When he fumbled that ball on the scoop and score, was that 2 games ago or was that the game
2 games ago?
2 games ago.
Well, did they give up a scoop and score against the Giants?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they did, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
That ball wasn't knocked out of his hand. He couldn't grip the football. If he claims he couldn't grip the football again, why would you play him? A quarterback's got to be able to grip so is he supposed to just go in there, play with the pain to show he's a tough guy, but he can't grip the ball and throw it? What? How does that make any sense at all? And it's not like we're in a wild card playoff game or we're fighting for a chance to get into the playoffs. There was zero at stake yesterday for the Vikings or the Packers. That's why it was such a bad game. Had you watched even
if they were playing for the playoffs, if Max Brosmer gives you a better chance to win because you can't hold on to a football, you should pull yourself.
Didn't they do the exact same thing with Wentz? They said, well, he gives us a better chance to win with a shattered socket more than a guy with a bum ankle.
He should have pulled himself. Well, the coaching staff should have pulled him in that one.
Yeah. But there was a guy who was playing, and I don't think he gave the Vikings a better chance to win when he was in that kind of pain, but maybe he did. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't think pulling himself out of the game, I don't have a problem with that.
I have a lot of other issues with J.J. McCarthy. Yeah. That is not one of them.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I tend to agree with you there.
But I had more issues with Christian Darrisaw this year in the way he, like I said, I mean, how many times early in the season was he practicing half the time and then not practicing and then he wouldn't play, and then he'd get in games and he was on his own pitch count.
Yep.
And then he wasn't playing. Then he went that's more the way he played this season with that injury was more concerning than what JJ. And I get JJ is the leader of the team given his position, but.
Happy New Year, gentlemen. JD, Florence, Texas. Our biggest priority in this offseason is offensive line. 2, a veteran quarterback. JJ is definitely not the answer.
Ooh.
We need to replace CJ with another good fullback. And Harry, the hitman. We need an upgrade back there because he'll be gone. That's my take. Let's hope this GM and head coach.
He ran out of time there.
Yeah, you only got 30 seconds.
Yeah, replacing Hitman will be tough.
He was just kind of okay this year, though, to the very end, though. This wasn't the old Harrison Smith.
No.
Other than 2 games ago against Detroit.
Yeah. There were a number of people that...
I think the Bynum departure hurt more than we know.
Yeah, our secondary is just okay, right? B-Flow does work some wonders. And look at Van Ginkel, Grenard, Who's our guy from Prior Lake? No, I mean from Eden Prairie.
Cash in, cash out.
Cash in, cash out. Those guys are good players. They have talent on the defense. Turner seems to be getting better, right? He's making some progress or not? Or do you not?
No, second half of the season, yeah. I thought he was pretty good the second half of the season. And he might make Grenard or Van Ginkel be expendable this offseason. If you're looking to save money somewhere, I'm not convinced Jonathan Grenard is going to be on this team next year. By the way, if you want to play the game of where we need to get better at, every year we go into the draft and we go, we have a need at cornerback, we have a need at offensive line. You're going to go 10 deep on what your needs are for this year.
Yeah.
So I will say it like I always say it. Now it's easier to say now that we're going to have so many needs. Just pick a player who can be an impact player. I don't care what position they are.
Yeah.
Draft for impact. Don't draft for need.
I tend to agree with you.
Because you on need alone, technically you could say quarterback, running back, tight end, one or two offensive linemen, interior defensive linemen, cornerback, safeties. I mean, you can go on and on and on for what they have needs at.
Sure, think we're close. We just need 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs, 3 offensive linemen, a couple of running backs, and a starting quarterback. And then we're ready. I think maybe you're onto something there.
Good morning, PA. Dave from Moorhead calling. Start with management. I think Kwesi needs another year to see what he can do for us, improve on what we did last year. Kevin O'Connell's a great head coach, but I do not think he's a good offensive coordinator.
Ooh.
I think we need to get one of those. And hopefully Brian Flores did not go anywhere. He's awesome. Quarterback-wise, we do need a veteran to show McCarthy the way. Thank you.
Well, we could have had him. Could have had Aaron. I want Tom.
Can you explain to me we need a veteran quarterback to show him the way? Because our head coach is a former quarterback in the league. Our quarterback's coach is a former quarterback in the league. Why do we need someone else to come in because those two can't show him the way?
I can't answer that. I know what you're saying. I agree with you. Why can't I do this? Let's go ahead and do it. Warren, you're on the fan.
Well, some of your callbacks are right on the money. I brought it up from the beginning of the season. The Vikings gave away. This is what they gave away. They gave away Bradbury. They gave away Cleveland. They gave away Verdarian Lowe, who's starting. They gave away Ingram, and they gave away another guy. You got guys that were high draft choices they got nothing for. If they would have had that group of guys here, they would have had the lowest. They would have been sacked fewer times than anybody in the NFL. Don't make any mistake about it. Bradbury is the best offensive lineman in the league, and it ain't even close. And that Vidarian Lowe in his third year is better than anybody they got on that line. The quarterback situation, I think, would be real easy to solve. I would go to Canada. I would get the best possible quarterback. These guys up in Canada can throw for 5,000 yards.
Come on,
and
they
a bunch of
cannot, can
touchdowns.
they?
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
me a name. Give me a name of one of those. I know Joe.
One of them is Mitchell.
Scott Mitchell.
These guys have won. No, his last name is Mitchell.
Oh,
but these guys have won championships. Some of these guys have thrown for 45,000 yards. Some between. This is the way to do it. One of the guys they let go, Kyle Hinton. Guy's 320 pounds, can run like a running back. If you put a guy like that in the backfield, and you know what you tell that guy? You said, we're going to go defensive line hunting. Because if you have a guy like that who can catch the ball, that's 320, and they had him. They never used him. Land has been using him, and he's been great. You get a guy like that who can catch the ball, and you know what you tell that guy? If there's a defensive lineman coming into our backfield, you're a gunning for him because he'll knock you out. These are the guys that the Vikings let go of, and
so you think
number one reason
you think we're okay with
what's that?
You think we're okay with McCarthy? We just need a better offensive line.
Well, here, all you got to do, I'll tell you what. Go look at the Detroit game. Grosvenor had absolutely no time to throw the football. They don't. Here's the difference between why Bradbury is successful and Verdarian Lowe. And your analyst said 100% when he reviewed this when they came out. They do a lot of cut, chop blocking.
Yes.
They open holes up. And you know what the quarterbacks from New England said? You know what? Between him and Noah, they go, I love you guys because you protect me.
Yeah,
hasn't given up a sack, hasn't had a penalty, given up 4 hits. Take a look at what happened to our quarterback early in the year. Nobody would have survived that.
Thanks, Warren. Appreciate that. Warren thinks that if Bradbury's on the club, we're in the big game or close.
Did he call him the best offensive lineman in football?
In pro football.
Wasn't he trying to move him to tight end like 2 years ago?
He was. He said he should have been our tight end.
Good thing they didn't listen to him, huh?
Yeah. Here's a phone call from Hank. Hank, you're on the Fan. Thanks for calling here on a Purple Monday.
Hey, thank you, guys. I just comment. I just think JJ's too immature. I mean, I understand he pulled himself, and I don't agree with that. But, I mean, I get it if you can't hang on to the ball. But what upsets me is first half he's trying to be Mr. Tough Guy and pick a fight with the guy putting his shoulder down and blocking him out of bounds. I mean, what's he doing? He's a quarterback, and he's prone to getting hurt. That was just foolish.
Yeah. Thanks, Hank. Appreciate it. That's what Tenevie...
that was really dumb.
Yeah, you said that, too.
And he took him out of that drive, too. They had a good drive, nice drive going.
Yeah, they did.
And they had to settle for 3 because of his penalty.
That's one of those... What do we always joke about? Easily correctable? Who said that? Was that total system failure? No, that was the poll.
That was the Twins.
Somebody said
the correctable mistakes.
Easily
what was
correctable. That? Was that Zimmer? That was somebody Viking related, I think. Anyway, that is one that it's easier to correct a guy's behavior and say, don't do that again, other than teaching mechanics. I think mechanics are harder to pick up than that. So, you would hope that, dude, you just bring the dude to say, dude, don't put your shoulder down ever again. Just go out of bounds. If it's to win the game and you got to get to the end zone, we'll throw your shoulder down. We'll take our chances. But first drive of the game, there's no need to put your shoulder down and try to. And at
the sideline.
Yeah, at the sideline. It makes no sense at all.
You weren't going to gain anything out of it. You weren't going to gain yardage.
Here's a JP calling. JP, you're on the Fan. Thanks for calling.
Hey, not a problem. Listen, I love your show.
I do too.
And I just want to say, well, I know you do. Listen, that offensive line, we need beef eaters up there. We need people that are mean, tough. They can run block, pass protect. I don't like Kwesi. I think he needs to go. And as far as JJ is concerned, McCarthy, of course, I'm on the fence with him. He shows sparks, and I understand he takes risks, but that kind of seems like a gamer to me. But the other thing I want to say is Harrison Smith needs to come back one more year. He needs to give us another chance. If we can get that offensive line fixed and nobody whining about concussions and back problems and all that other whatever it is, I think we'll be okay. We have to establish a run game. We can't do that without an offensive line.
All right.
That takes, obviously, pressure off the quarterback.
All right, thanks, JP. Appreciate it. Thanks. I don't think people are whining about concussions. I think if you're diagnosed with a concussion, that's it. I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 players, maybe all of them, if it wasn't mandatory to come out of a game with concussion symptoms, a lot of them would keep playing. So I don't think they're whining about concussions. I mean, if you get your bell wrong, well, look, you think Kyle Hamilton wanted to come out of yesterday's game? Is that the safety for the Ravens?
Very good safety, yeah.
Do you think he wanted to come out? Do you think he was whining about his concussion? He had a head-on collision with one of his teammates. His teammate went in the tent first. And you could tell when they showed the replay, Kyle Hamilton took the worst of it, right? The other guy passed concussion protocol, went back out. Hamilton went out on a cart. You're not going to tell me Kyle Hamilton was whining about his concussion. They told him, you have concussion symptoms, you can't play. That's the rules now. You cannot play if you have concussion symptoms. So I don't think people are whining about. Look, he talked about the offensive line. We've talked about it forever. That's the reason Philadelphia, they got the tush push. Why? Because their general manager, it's Howie Roseman, he drafts offensive linemen every year. Every year they just keep drafting them. Because you're going to miss on some, and you're going to hit on others, and you need depth there as well. That's why offensive line is the key. It is. If you've got an offensive line that can protect a quarterback, Any of these guys can we've talked, Teneby, how many times have we talked about this? Every one of these quarterbacks in the league, even the guys that are in the bottom tier, if you give them enough time to throw, they can hit open wide receivers. Because if you have time to throw, guys eventually get open. The key is, can you provide just enough protection for that 2.5, 3 seconds so we can get rid of the football? And that's what you need. And Philadelphia has that. And so does some of the other better teams. Detroit had it for 2 years. Their offensive line suffered very few injuries, and their offensive line was as good as any in pro football. And they went 14-3, I think, the year they went to the NFC Championship game, and 15-2 last year. This year, without an all-pro center and with Zeitler gone and other injuries, they went 9-8. That's the biggest difference for Detroit. Was offense. Same with the Vikings. Offensive line wasn't good. I don't think McCarthy is as far along as Jared Goff. I don't think.
I don't think McCarthy helps your offensive line look as good as it can look.
I think that's
put him in positions to succeed.
That's absolutely true as well. Coaches show tomorrow. Nico Medved, right?
As far as I know.
So Medved, they beat Northwestern. That was their first win away from Williams.
And they play Iowa tomorrow night. So.
Iowa. I saw Parker Fox down in the lobby downstairs talking to Piano Man. And he said it'll be a good game. He thinks we can hang with Iowa. Seemed to suggest that. So we'll see if that happens. So we're back at 1:00 tomorrow. And then the legendary one joins us at 2:00, Mark Rosen.
Oh, boy.
And then Rock Talk.
I'll be paying you $6.
He'll be paying me $6. I can't remember if I owe him any money anymore. He'll remember. I think we're square. I think it was down to like $1. Because I think I held on to paying him off long enough that I won a couple more bets along the way. Do you think Power Trip Bets keeps track of that for us, too? They can tell me how much
he keeps track, but he doesn't know whether you've paid him or not.
Yeah.
He keeps track of all your wins and losses, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He doesn't know if I paid off. But what I mean is, I think I owed like Rosen like 12, but then I won like 2 or 3 bets in a row and it came down. So I'd just like to know where my bets were the last couple of times. I think I won the last 2 or 3 bets. So in other words, I think we're close to even. I think I'm in the black after this.
Back in black.
Back in black in this one. Do you have a team that I know you're not going to curl up in the fetal position if they get eliminated from postseason play, but is there a team or two that you're going to be pulling for?
That I'm cheering for?
Yeah.
I was hoping Baltimore last night, and then they choked that one away. That was going to be my team to sneak in, and then I like Lamar Jackson. I might go Buffalo. I like Josh Allen. Obviously, we know their history. There's so much mediocrity. I still think ultimately, quarterback play is so important in the postseason that's going to rise to the top here. So I think Buffalo might surprise some teams, even though they've had kind of a weird season.
How things have changed?
The Rams are going to win it all. That's my prediction.
Really?
That's my prediction.
Here's how things have changed for me. I'm rooting for A-Rod now. I'm Pittsburgh and Seattle.
Pittsburgh and Seattle?
Yeah,
Darnold?
Because I just hate that. I don't like the hatred Darnold gets here in this town.
Sure. Understandable.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today. We're back tomorrow, 1:00, as we mentioned, the Nico Medved show, and then Rosen joins us at 2:00. Big Ticket and Brett Blakemore, they are next, right here on The Fan. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.